This is the 20th episode of God's Chosen podcast. Today we are going to talk about healing and hidden truths. There are things hidden that need to come to light. Let's dive in. Enjoy.
What up? What up? God's Chosen. How y'all doing today? Welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about healing. It's the healing episode. Let's talk about healing. So, we all have things we need to heal from. And sometimes those things are old wounds that we've never really looked at, things that we just kind of hide away within ourselves. And we keep going and pretending like these wounds are not there. We try not to think about these wounds because they're painful, right? They bring up memories and experiences that we don't want to think about. But in order to really move forward in life, in order to be the best version of ourselves, we've got to heal. We can't sweep it under the rug and hope that nobody notices and think that we can go on in our lives and be who we are meant to be without the proper healing. You know what I'm talking about? Now, I'm not saying that you've got to heal every single piece of you in order to do what you need to do and follow your dreams and follow your heart. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if you know there is a wound, if you know there is an issue, and that particular issue is stopping you from making forward progress, that's the one that you need to pay attention to in the moment. That's the one that you need to correct. That's the one that you need to heal from right now. Sometimes we think that we are not ready for situations because we don't have this, or we're not healed, or I need to heal more, or whatever the reason is you think you're not ready to move forward. I'm going to tell you that sometimes it's actually in moving forward, you're actually doing the healing. Let me say that again. In moving forward, you are actually doing the healing because you're breaking old cycles, you're breaking old thought patterns and habits that have kept you stuck. Being stuck, being stagnant, not moving forward, being too much in your head. These are things that can delay your healing. These are things that can block your own blessings. These can stop you from achieving your own goals and dreams. So you got to be mindful of just overanalyzing and overthinking. It's cool to an extent to think about things, but when you start overthinking, overanalyzing, it puts you in a state of fear. It puts you in a state of not moving forward, hence being stagnant, right? And instead of making forward progress, you make no progress. And these things hold you back, and they keep you from your blessings, quite frankly. A lot of times we hold back because we don't know what's ahead of us. And that's understandable because the fear of the unknown is a real thing. But at the same time, how many times have you been scared to do something and you did that thing, and then you look back and you're like, what was I so afraid of? Why did it take me so long to get here? I could have been here way sooner. I could have been way happier way sooner. But I chose to take the long route. I chose to procrastinate and be in my head when I didn't have to. I created my own roadblock to my own happiness. OMG. What am I doing? Right? What am I doing? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do and get out of your own way and move forward with bold action. Like, whatever happens, happens. But you got to do it. You can't be scared. You can't be fearful. You can't think about, oh, the consequences of this and that. But I urge you to make the forward progress. Because if you think about it, what are the consequences of not making the move? What are the consequences of staying exactly where you're at? I guarantee you it's probably worse than if you made the move. So it doesn't make sense to be fearful of making the move, especially if you're not in a great situation or things are not going in your favor currently. What have you got to lose? Straight up. What have you got to lose? You know what I mean? This reminds me of Ben Simmons a few years ago when he didn't take the shot. Like, he didn't take the shot. He was right by the basket and he passed it up to somebody that was way further away from the basket than he was. He was right there at a layup. He did not take the shot. I'm still mad at you for that, Ben Simmons. I'm not even a Philly fan, but I'm mad just as a basketball fan in general because I'm like, bro, you right there. Why are you throwing the ball back out and you right there? But, you know, that's a whole nother thing, right? But my point is, he was so close. He didn't take the shot. And then I guess after that, he had like a whole mental breakdown. And then everything started hurting. But imagine the narrative that would have been told if he took that shot. He was right there. If he made that basket from right there, people would probably still be talking about him, but in a positive light. He could have avoided a lot of trauma and a lot of hurt from not doing what he was supposed to do. He was right there. And then I think ever since that moment, his life has been on a downward spiral. He probably hasn't played a full season since then. So, you know, like if you close to the basket, take the shot. Stop playing. You got a wide open look, take the shot. Don't be Ben Simmons. I'm so serious. Don't be Ben Simmons. I ain't even mad at you, Ben, but that, you know, you got to take that shot. Miss or make it, you did what you were supposed to do. But passing it out, that was not the move. That shows like you choked. You panicked when you didn't have to. So, Ben Simmons, holler at me if you need some healing, by the way. I got you. I got you, no doubt, for real. I can help you. I'm not even playing. But listen. Yo. Well, listen. Yeah, like we can't be scared to make moves, y'all. We can't be scared to make moves. Because what you'll notice, let's say you're thinking about doing something, right? If you're thinking about doing the wrong thing, guess what? There will be no obstacles. There will be no obstacles. You'll be able to make the wrong decision all day long. No problem. Everybody's going to be like, yeah, that's what you should do. Go ahead and do that. Because if it benefits them in somehow, some way, they're going to be like, yeah, if you got that type of circle around you and they don't really care about you and they just care about themselves, they're never going to stop you or question you when you're making the wrong move. If you're doing something that is not for your benefit, aligning with them, going with them, doing whatever they want, they're never going to question you. It's only when you do things in opposition of them and what they want is when you start getting questioned, is when you start getting harassed, is when you start getting a little pushback. Because it's not what they want you to do. So if you try to do something for yourself, something that you think is positive, something that you think can help your life, something that you know is going to make you happy, and they're giving you pushback then, well, you really need to look at them. You really need to look at them, for real. Whose corner are they really in? It doesn't look like they're in your corner, that's for sure. But that's just my opinion. I'll let them tell it. I let them tell it. Because I'm going to tell you something real quick. You talking about healing and, always got something to say. People always got something to say about this person, that person, and maybe they know them, maybe they don't, right? But you can often tell a lot about a person by what they say about other people. If they talking negative about somebody, whether they know them or not, it tells you a lot about their character. It tells you a lot about that person. Because honestly, if I mess with you and there's somebody that I don't mess with, I'm going to tell you like my experience based off that person if I had an experience with them. But if I don't know that person, there's no way that I can tell you anything about that person, good or bad, if I don't know them. But if I'm talking bad about them based off something that I've seen or something that I'm just straight up making up, it tells you a lot about the person that's coming to you with this information. Because whether I like you or not, I'm not going to talk bad about you. I'm not going to lie on you. I'm not going to make up stories to make myself look better. I've got enough confidence in myself to stand on my own. I don't need to bring anybody else down so I can be lifted up. For what? Be careful of those people who talk down on other people, especially if they don't know them, especially if they've never had an experience with them. Because those same people will go around and talk bad about you when you're not around, because you're not doing what they want you to do. I know people talk about me behind my back all the time. And I know it's almost always lies. If they happen to be speaking the truth, more than likely it's something I've shared with them, or we've had an experience, and they're sharing that experience. But even if that's the case, they can never say that during or shared experience, I did anything that was bad, malevolent. I did nothing to harm them, nothing to put them down. The one thing they could say is from talking with me, from speaking with me, from interacting with me, they probably see things on a different point of view, from a different point of view, right? They probably like understand something a little bit different than how they may have previously understood it, because we have those types of conversations. We have positive conversations to uplift and motivate. I don't talk about anything that drag anybody down. I speak on things that were done to me. I speak on things that others have tried to do. You know what I mean? But even then, it's like, I am not holding any malicious intent towards these people. The thing is, they've brought it on themselves. I just speak on it. They've brought a lot of things on themselves, and I speak on it because I know what's coming. You know, a lot of people think they can escape justice. They think they can escape the law because they may have friends in the system. You can't escape God's justice. Your friends in the system is a part of the deal. They're getting taken down too. So I would just prepare myself for the outcome. Whatever it is that you tried to do, prepare yourself for all of that coming back to you. Prepare. That's all. Now, what if the very person you tried to eliminate is the very person that could save your life? Isn't that a wild thought? What if the very person you tried to eliminate is the very person that can save your life? Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Gotta sit with that for a second, because that's heavy. A lot of y'all wouldn't even think that. Y'all couldn't fathom that. That would be surreal to y'all. I get it. I get it. But you see, that's how God works. That's how God works. That doesn't mean you're not going to get what's coming. It don't. But what it does mean is God loves everybody. God will give everyone a chance to do the right thing. He always does. But sometimes people are being used and they don't even know they're being used. Sometimes they'll be in such a low energy, a low vibration, that you'll have entities attached to them, and these entities will control that person. It will make them do things they don't normally do. And sometimes these entities could be attached to you through magic. They have lust entities. They have lying entities. They have jealous entities. They have all sorts of entities. That everything that you can imagine there's an entity for. Every one of those 7 deadly sins, they have an entity for it. Evil eye, jealousy, hate, depression. Yeah, there's an entity for all of those things, all of those lower vibrational energies. And when you do drugs and when you do alcohol in excess, you allow yourself to be a target for these entities. That's just what it is. There's a verse in the Bible that I've been looking at lately. There's two of them, actually, that I've been looking at. And the first one is Exodus 15:26, where it says, I am the Lord who heals you. Very powerful. I am the Lord who heals you. Exodus 15:26. And there's another one. I will take sickness away from you. The number of your days I will fulfill. Exodus 23:25 and 26. That's the verses, 25 and 26. Chapter 23. I will take sickness away from you. The number of your days I will fulfill. Exodus 23, verses 25 and 26. Those two verses can bring you healing. If you're bold enough to use them. Enemies, that goes out to YouTube. Fans, that goes out to YouTube. Clones, that goes out to YouTube. Those two verses can bring you healing if you're bold enough to use them. If you have an entity attachment, the entity attachment is going to laugh, they're going to frown, they're going to pretty much not do everything to make you not say those verses. So the next thing I want to do for y'all, I break your power, Satan. In Jesus' name, come out. I break your power, Satan. In Jesus' name, come out. I state that with authority to cast out any entities, any attachments that may be lingering or may be attached to you. And so it is. It is done. They must go. They must leave. In Jesus' name, they must. I give y'all that. That's a gift. That's a gift. God still loves you. He don't like what you're doing. He don't condone what you've done. But he understands. You put yourself in a low vibrational energy, you open yourself up to those things. And those things don't care about you. All they care about is using your vessel to achieve a desired outcome. And it's never a good one. It's always self-serving. It's always to your detriment. You guys, and I'm talking to everybody, you have to be more careful what you put into your body. You have to be careful of the people you hang around, because entities can use your closest friends to do things to you. And they may or may not remember what they did. it may not necessarily have been something that they would normally do, but because they were in a low vibration, it allowed an attachment or some magic or something to work on them that caused them to do certain actions. So I had an experience where I think I shared it before, where one day a friend of mine was just attacking me out of nowhere verbally. And I'm like, where's this coming from? I haven't engaged in any combat with you today. Why are we fighting? You know what I'm talking about? I don't know where this is coming from. It's just seemingly out of nowhere. But what I realize is when they can't get to you directly, when you are too high up on the totem pole for them to reach, they try to use those people around you to shift your vibration because they want you in a low vibration. That's the only way they can get to you. So they have to try and hurt you. They have to try and hurt your feelings. They have to try and get you in your emotions. They have to try and bring you down. And your job is not to fall for it. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. You are secure in yourself in knowing who you are and what you're about. So if they're trying to bring you down, no matter what they say, do not give their words, their thoughts, the things they're trying to project onto you, do not give that any of your energy or your time. Because that's what they want. They want to bring you down. They want to make you feel like a lesser version of yourself. They don't like the fact that you're changing. They don't like the fact that you're elevating. They don't like the fact they can't get to you anymore. So they will use those closest to you, especially if you keep company that's of a lower vibration. They will use those people to try and bring you down. And usually those people have unhealed trauma, unhealed wounds that give these entities access to them. And they will try and attack you that way. But if you put those entities in their place, you don't give them any energy. You know who you are. You're confident in yourself. You know the direction you're going in. They have no power. Much like anything else, nothing really has power over you unless you give it power over you. Do not give outside things, people, places, events. Do not give those things power over you. I remember, like, back in the day when I was like a real hardcore basketball Suns, I still love the Suns, but it was a time where I would be watching these games and I would be so emotional. I would be so caught up in these games. Like, how could you miss that shot? Oh, you bum. You suck. You this, you that. I'm calling them every name in the book. I'm like, yo, you shouldn't even have gotten that contract. You a loser, this and that, right? You suck. I hate, whoa. How's talking about just going in? And every game, I'm going in on these players because they just not doing what they supposed to do. And I realized, like, one day I just kind of like realized, I just started thinking, like, why am I so invested in this? If they're not going to do what they need to do to win, why should I be so invested in players that's making millions of dollars and they're losing? If they don't care enough to win, why should I care? They're making millions of dollars and they're losing. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. It seems like I am more invested than they are. And it was at that point I said, you know what? Not giving them my energy in that way. I will watch the game. If they're doing good, I'll cheer for them. But if they're doing bad, it is what it is. That's not on me. That's on them, right? They've got to want it more than me. If they want to win, I can't want it more than they do. If I want it more than they do, it's a problem. And it's not my problem. It's their problem. Had to realize that. Had to step back from being that emotional over something that was out of my control. I'm not on the court. There's nothing I can do. I can cheer when things go well. I can try to motivate them when things are down. But that's it. That's where I can, those are the two things I can do. I can't do anything more. I can't go out there and make the shot for them. I can't show them that there's somebody creeping up behind them. These are things they just have to know on their own. These are things they have to know from playing the game for so long. A lot of these things are like, you just start to know. You have like a sense of when someone's coming up behind you. You have like a sense of when you got to take this shot. It's all feeling, you know, but those are things that come with the game. But I can't be the one to point out things that you should already know as a 10-year player, a 5-year player, however long you've been playing. Most of these people have been playing ball since they were kids. So there's really nothing new going on in these ball games. They should know these things. So if I know more than you, or I feel like I'm doing more than you, then there's nothing more I can do if you're not doing the things that I know you should be able to do. Having played basketball, I know the things that you should be doing. I know the things that you should notice. And I feel like you should notice before me because you played way more ball than I had. But hey, it's not every day to get to talk basketball. I guess. So listen, this whole thing, this whole journey, it's just all about being true to yourself, living the life you want to live. Don't let anybody dictate your life. For what? How is somebody else going to tell you how to live your life? No one can tell you how to live your life. You got to make your own decisions. You got to be the boss of your own life. You got to do whatever healing is necessary in order for you to do that and be that. Don't let anyone project their experiences onto you. Don't let anyone tell you how you should live. Don't let anyone convince you that their way is the right way. How do they know? Everything is opinion-based. Don't let their opinion become your fact. Listen, this God's Chosen. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night.